let me give you the lowdown on when the baby came. Actually, she was supposed to come on Halloween, but she decided she was going to take her sweet old time, the little Eloise. And so it was actually exactly a week later. We woke up on November 7th at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and Elena told me that she was starting to have some contractions and that. I started getting excited. And so they were being pretty consistent, so I decided to time for like an hour and a half to see how things were coming along. And they were staying consistent. But we called the hospital and they said, let them intensify. And so we were like, okay. So we hung out a little while. About 8 or 8:30, we got up to go for a walk. And we went to over by the temple grounds. We just kind of walked around. Mom came with us, and so we kind of showed her back behind the temple as well, because it's really pretty. And then we started getting some pretty strong contractions, where we kind of had to stop walking so that we could let her recover a little bit. And then we decided, well, we live about an hour away from the hospital. Probably not a bad idea to just head in there. So we went and got everything ready, but as we were walking down, I realized they were blocking off our parking area. And I was like, we gotta get out of here. And so I went and I found a security guard, and I was like, my wife's going into labor, so we gotta go. And so he didn't have any problems, and he went and opened the door for us. But we went and got all of our stuff, and then we loaded up. And as we were driving out, we had to go the way of the parade so that we could avoid all of the floats and that. And actually, as we were pulling up, we made it to another group of people, and this guy stopped us in the middle of the road. He's like, hey, sorry, the road's closed. We can't let you pass. And I just said, my wife is in labor, and so we need to go to the hospital. And that was pretty much the easy, okay, here's your get out of jail free card, and we ran along. So we made it to the hospital about 10:30 in the morning, and all was well. We got in there, and the nurse was like, well, since you're about a week late, I wouldn't count on getting kicked out of here. We'll probably keep you in no matter what. But luckily, when the doctor was able to come in and check over everything with Elena, she was already progressing well along with the labor, and so we were not too worried about staying in there anyways. And so we were in there all day. Hard to complain about the view from the hospital. Say hey, Mom. Finally, by 8:25 in the evening on Saturday, November 7th, our little baby girl was born. It was really cool and special. I was pretty excited to be able to hold her for the first time, and it was very special. It was definitely something that I'll never forget, and I look forward to being able to take care of our little girl. Actually, we had a hard time settling on a name afterwards. We didn't really want to leave the hospital without giving her a name, but there was a couple names that we were thinking about, but eventually we both felt good, and we decided that her name needed to be Eloise Jane Marvin. So we're glad to have her with us. And really, she's been such an easy-going little baby, just because she doesn't really cry a ton. She's good at eating, and she seems to be growing well. We went to the doctor the other day, and she's already gaining back her weight that she had lost, like all little babies do. But she has the cutest little smiles, and we just have a blast taking care of her. She's just so little and precious, and I don't know that even holding some of my nieces and nephews when they were newborns never really hit me quite as much as it is now that it's my own child. Which at the same time is a little bit weird, being our first child. I don't know, even now, I mean, mind you, she's been born for about a week now. But sometimes it just is not. It doesn't feel like she's our child. It doesn't seem like that can be possible. Like, I don't know. I still feel like Elaine and I are really young. We are, mind you. But it's just kind of crazy. It's a fun, wild adventure. But it's fun on the nights where we don't get much sleep and we're both getting woke up, but we're doing really well. Luckily, I didn't actually start back into my classes until Wednesday of the week that they started. I just emailed my teachers and told them I'm not going to come in. Told them that I needed to be with my wife, and so they were all pretty understanding. And actually, on Wednesday when I went back to class, a couple of my teachers asked for the class to give me a round of applause because I was a new father. So that was kind of a cool little remembrence of following the commandments and doing what God has asked us to do. So, and I get to come home to our little Eloise every day. So, I mean, it's hard to complain. As for Elena, she's doing really well. She probably gets a little less sleep than me, so I try and help as much as I can to wash the dishes so that she can nap, or to pick her up if she's just being a little bit fussy and things like that. But I enjoy it too, just because I like to hold her, and she just, it's really interesting how she's just so observant. She'll just sit and watch, and it's just awesome. I could have her in my arms and just stare at her all day without any problems. It's awesome.